This headline isn't just hypocrisy, it's institutional rot. Congress has formally censured Delegate Stacey Plaskett and yanked her from the House Intel Committee after revelations that she was coordinating in real time with Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted sex offender, during an official 2019 hearing. Let us sink in. While sitting in the People's House on official business, a member of Congress was actively taking life coaching from a man whose crimes against minors horrified the nation. And remember, this is the same political camp that has spent years trying to splash Epstein's filth onto their opponent. They lit the match. Now, the fire is in their own lap.
The gentleman is recognized. Mr. Speaker, my House Resolution 888, censuring and condemning Delegate Stacey Plaskett and removing her from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence for conduct that reflects the discredibility on the House of Representatives for colluding with convicted felon and offender Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing. Whereas Stacey Plaskett, the delegate representing the United States Virgin Islands in the House of Representatives, inappropriately coordinated in real time with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in a congressional hearing in February of 2019. Whereas Delegate Plaskett was actively coached by Epstein during the hearing, receiving instructions on specific lines of questioning, and was congratulated after the message by Mr. Epstein, good work. Whereas Jeffrey Epstein, the Speaker of the House is not in order.
The gentleman has the floor. The chair would again ask the body to please observe decorum and keep conversations to a minimum. The gentleman has the floor.
Whereas Jeffrey Epstein was a known convicted felony sex offender, having pled guilty and been convicted for procuring a child for prostitution and solicitation, a proselyte, in a plea deal in 2008, and served a 13-month prison sentence. Whereas in the course of that investigation, the FBI compiled reports on dozens of confirmed minors who credibly alleged sexual abuse by Mr. Epstein. Whereas Epstein was under further federal investigation beginning in November of 2018, 2 months before Delegate Plaskett's recently revealed text exchange during a congressional hearing, following investigative reporting by the Miami Herald detailing Epstein's controversial 2008 plea deal and highlighting accounts of his victims. Whereas Epstein was arrested in July of 2019 and charged with 1 count of sex trafficking of minors and 1 count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors, he was later found dead in the New York Metropolitan Correctional Center. Whereas according to documents released from Epstein's estate during a House Committee on Oversight and Reform hearing featuring testimony from Michael Cohen, the disgraced former attorney for President Donald J. Trump, Delegate Plaskett coordinated her line of questioning with Jeffrey Epstein in real time over text messages while the hearing was underway. Whereas Delegate Plaskett, who previously served as an Assistant Attorney General in the United States Department of Justice Civil Division, is known to have had extensive political, personal, and professional connections with Epstein after his conviction as a sex offender up to the time of his arrest and then his death in 2019. Whereas Delegate Plaskett's relationship with Epstein stands in stark contrast to the public image that she has curated for herself as a defender of justice and accountability, and while secretly collaborating with an individual whose crimes against vulnerable women and children shocked the entire nation. Whereas Delegate Plaskett's willingness to receive instructions on official congressional proceedings from Epstein, a convicted felony sex offender with deep concerning international associations, is especially alarming and inappropriate given her own past service in the United States Department of Justice and her current role on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and raises serious questions about Delegate Plaskett's judgment, her integrity, and her fitness to serve. Whereas such associations erode public trust in Congress particularly when they involve using input from a sex offender to advance partisan attacks during official proceedings. Now, therefore, be it resolved, Section 1, Censure of Delegate Stacey Plaskett. Resolved that the House of Representatives censures and condemns Delegate Stacey Plaskett for inappropriate coordination with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein during a congressional hearing which reflects discreditably on the House of Representatives, and directs the Committee on Ethics to conduct a full investigation to the extent of Plaskett's ties to Epstein and any further improprieties. Section 2, removed from House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence.
This is the unforgivable line that was crossed. According to the resolution read on the House floor, Plaskett coordinated in real time with Jeffrey Epstein during a House hearing, receiving specific instructions on what to ask, and even getting a good work pat on the head message afterward. We're not talking about some distant long ago photo or a vague social acquaintance. We are talking active life coordination with a known registered offender during an official proceeding in the United States Congress. That's not poor optics. That's an ethical sinkhole. See, members swear an oath to the Constitution, not to convicted predators texting them talking points mid-hearing. It's a grotesque breach of judgment and a direct insult to every victim who ever came forward. I think the House intel removal wasn't harsh. It was the bare minimum. Plaskett sat on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, a highly sensitive assignment. That seat requires unimpeachable judgment. The resolution cites her past DOJ service and extensive political, personal, and professional connections with Epstein after his conviction. That alone screams unfit for intel. When you are trusted with America's crown jewels, you do not entertain real-time guidance from a felon, infamous for exploiting the vulnerable. Removing her from intel wasn't punishment, it was containment. Man, the hypocrisy here is radioactive. For a while now, the left has tried to weaponize the Epstein saga as a smear cannon against their opponents. Now the receipts point back at their ranks. Real-time text coaching during a hearing, para the resolution, post-conviction connections, and the congratulatory exchange. If you spent all this time insisting Epstein proximity proves moral bankruptcy, then what does life coordination with him inside a hearing make you? Spare us the lectures about protecting women while you're literally elevating a predator's input in Congress. The problem is everyone knew precisely who Epstein was. See, the resolution explicitly notes Epstein's 2008 conviction, FBI findings about dozens of victims, renewed federal scrutiny by late 2018, and his 2019 arrest. All of that was known or knowable at the time of the alleged coordination. This wasn't a grey area. Any contact should have been a non-starter, much less real-time steering of official proceedings. It's moral dereliction coupled to political opportunism. Censure is a public shaming. It's not accountability's finish line. The resolution directs the Committee on Ethics to investigate the extent of Plaskett's ties to Epstein and any further improprieties. Good. That probe must be exhaustive. And what about staff involvement? Anyone who enabled or knew about this contact? And also, financial benefit disclosures. Any donations, favors, introductions, travel or third-party intermediaries linked to Epstein's network. Also, hearing integrity review. Did Epstein's real-time coaching after the factual record misdirect questioning or taint findings? If laws were broken, refer it. If rules were violated, enforce them. If the trail touches other offices, expand the inquiry. Sunlight or bust. Well, these are policy fixes Congress should enact immediately. If this can happen once, it can happen again. Lock the doors. Live hearing communications policy. Members and staff must place phones on visible airplane mode during questioning blocks. Emergency carve-outs routed through official counsel, not private back channels. External influence attestations, written certifications after key hearings that questions weren't shaped by disqualified parties, that is felons, registered offenders, foreign principals, or parties under active criminal scrutiny. Also, enhanced disclosures. Any prior relationship with known felons or registered offenders must be reported and cleared before participating in related hearings. Victim first rules. Any matters touching sex crime offenders trigger stricter conflict of interest screening and mandatory ethics council sign-off. Protect the institution. Protect the victims. Protect the record. Congress can't print about belief survivors while elevating a predator's whispers into the official transcript. The resolution states Plaskett's conduct erodes public trust. Of course it does. If you're a survivor, what does it say when the people sworn to oversight are taking cues from the very archetype of your abuser? This isn't a partisan point. It's a civilization point. Predators don't get a seat at the table, let alone a hidden earpiece. And to the audience calling for equal standards, good, demand them. If a Republican did this, I'd say the same thing. Strip the privileges, investigate fully and publish the records. Self-government only works if the rules mean more than the jerseys. The outrage here isn't selective, it's basic decency. So this is exactly what happens when power treats morality as a costume. It slips at the worst possible moment. The House took a necessary first step by censuring Stacey Plaskett and removing her from Intel. Now finish the job. Audit every message, trace every tie, and rebuild the guardrails so no convicted predator ever scripts a single syllable of an American hearing again. No more slogans, no more smoke screens. We want names, records, and consequences.